All right, everybody, welcome back to Wesley the Writer. I'm Wesley, and today on this Friday, I wanted to talk a little bit about diversification with assets. Um, I did mention a little bit about that on yesterday, particularly um, with the way in which I have different things that I have put my time into. But one of the key things about diversification that someone should understand is that you have to diversify between asset classes. You have to, instead of put all of your money into, say, stocks, right? You should put your money into stocks, gold, real estate, commodities, anything like that. But different asset classes, from a beginning scale, let's say, you have to focus on things that are not those bigger assets. Because again, it's like if you think about putting your money into gold right now and you're making like $1,000 a check, I mean, you can build up something over time, sure, but it's not going to be as effective as, say, if you were making a lot more or being able to contribute a lot more to that asset, buying whole bars or multiple coins as opposed to just buying like one coin a month or something, right? Just thinking about gold. Um, you want to be able to buy larger amounts of those stationary assets and all of those bigger assets so that the payout will be bigger. But you have to start small and you have to start somewhere. So, um, with that said, let's get into it. One of the first things I think about when I think about investment, again, is time. And like I had talked about yesterday, when you invest small increments of time towards something, you tend to reap the rewards of that thing. So like let's say like if you were starting out, you had absolutely nothing. Let's say you managed to listen to a little bit of what I was talking about being homeless, and you found yourself in a situation to where you're in the kitchen of your homeless shelter, right? All right. So let's say that you are a good cook. Well, you can spend time cooking, right? But you can also spend time learning about how to cook other things. You have the ability to use the internet at the library, or even if you're blessed and you have a cell phone, you can use that to learn how to better that, right? If you have a smartphone or something, then that means you also have access to a camera, which in turn means that you can start taking pictures of your food. You can start writing about your food if you're a good enough writer, right? Or if you can put together a short description of what you're doing. If you're able to record yourself dancing in a video, then you're able to do a food video. If you're able um, to send out text messages, right? Well, then you'll be able to write little short blogs about what it is that you're making this week. You can make content, right? But that is just content. But it is a form of investment. It's a form of investment in your skills and your abilities to be able to be a producer in something. People find value in that. It's not like those things are not valuable. So, again, we're talking about an investment that provides value. And it might not be the exact payout of money in the beginning, but those skills allow you to do something bigger, right? Let's say that someone sees you putting forth an effort to record yourself doing something at this low point, and they want to see if you can handle a larger workload. You're putting in the work, just like the scripture from the beginning of the week. You're putting in the work and you're not burying that talent that was given you. Instead, you're putting it into action, you're putting it into work. And so now someone's taking notice, they want to utilize that talent and they have a bigger budget. They can help you out, like we talked about before, with using stability to get you to where you want to be. um, they can help you to reach that next level to where now you might be getting paid to do something, right? It's all about what you present. You're not talking about it, you're actually doing it. You're not saying that you're a writer, Wesley, right? And you're not, but you're not writing. You have a library of things that people can see, and they can see the talent that's within you. They can see that you're a producer in your own right, and you're not just a talker. And so that's how you can grow in that form of investment and investing in your time. Another small investment could be just investing in other people, right? Like I had mentioned before, going to the church, seeing what needs to be done. Now, when you approach the church, you have to do it in a specific way because people don't just allow you to take advantage of them or use their things without you putting forth an effort to be a part of that thing. So it's just like if you were to go try to get hired, right? If you just show up, you know, you look like you didn't prepare yourself for what you were trying to get into. You don't know what to say. You're stumbling over your words. You don't know what you want. Well, then of course no one's going to want to deal with you. You're looking like you're just there to cause some trouble, get something and leave. So take the time to get your mind right before approaching. You know, go to a few sermons of this church. Listen to what the man of God or the woman of God is saying, and learn. Start putting forth an effort to learn. Actually, have a conversation with those people and sit down and be discipled, or be administered to. You'll want to wait before jumping into someone's kitchen or someone's ministry. You'll want to first hear the word of God, go to a Bible study session, or go to some form of meetup or whatever, and be a part. Listen to what God's telling you. Let God speak to you first, and then you be able to jump into where it is that God puts you to get into. And from there you can grow in that right. It doesn't matter if you're sleeping or under an underpass, or if you're in a mansion. It doesn't matter where you are. Like, that form of investment is a little different than that form of investment is more powerful than people think, because you're not just you at that moment. You become more than what you were whenever you follow behind Christ. Not just in a physical sense of having an entire ministry or church body behind you, but having a God with you, having the mindset that God has instilled in all of us believers in you to be able to handle what might come against you. And that's more powerful than anything these days, because there are so many distractions in the world that keep you from, well, anything. There's so many things that can derail you. But if you have a focus and you invest that part of your existence into it, well, then yeah, you'll reap a very large reward at the end. Not just the end, though. I mean, even throughout. You're talking about food all the time, especially here in the South. If you're listening to this like in a northern state and y'all don't have a lot of cookouts and stuff like that, well, I don't know what to tell you. But down here in the South, whenever Sundays or whenever church is done on Sundays and there's events and stuff and everybody's hungry, we eat. All right. Anyway, what I'm saying is that the church is a really good place to invest your time. your family. Um, Again, these are the things that I had mentioned in the other podcast, but I'm mentioning them here too. Your family is the first investment that you have. Now, if you don't have a a mother and a father, a biological mother and a father, I think that one of the more important things to understand is the fact that surrogacy, whether you are just starting out as a kid, or if you're an adult now, having a father figure, a mother figure in your life, um, it speaks well across a lot of society. If your biological parents weren't acting right, having a spiritual mother and a spiritual father, having a family that is actually focused on growth and stability is a good investment of your time and energy. Um, I'm not saying that you can't go and fix what's wrong in your own family, or if it's impossible to fix that you should, still put forth an effort to try. Focus on the family that is put is presented in front of you. Um, like Jesus said, "Who is my mother? Who is my father?" You know, it's the people who are with you in the spiritual sense, who are able to help you out, not just financially or physically, but to give you something that can help you to overcome those obstacles that present themselves in life. That's what you are after. You're basically looking to become the person that people go to whenever a crisis occurs, whenever you're talking about getting into investments and all these other things. So you want to get behind those who have that already, who can teach you how to be that way. And that's where you should be looking to find your, that's what you should be looking for whenever you're talking about family figures and people who can stand in that role. Thankfully for me, my mother and father are that for me. They're stable. They've maintained that stability over a good amount of years, especially with me and my sisters. We did not have to go anywhere else for that as adults. As children, we found that in other members of the church, and we also found that in our grandparents. They were there for us as well. So we had a lot of examples of what that was, and we invested our love and our time into them in those particular points in our life. And even now, we still are reaping the benefits of that investment, even all these years after. And so, in conclusion, this actually went a little longer than I expected it to go. Uh, we should start thinking more along the lines of smaller investments and where we place our time and energy, particularly with those who are around us, who are in positions over us, instead of getting mad at the 1%, right? The high earners in society, the $400,000 plus club, right? We should spend more time focused on figuring out if one, if that's what we really want, and two, if that's not what we want, what do we want? What do we want to put our energy and our time into? I think that when we really look into it and really discover that for ourselves, we can really start to make better decisions and better investments that will help us to live better lives outside of our emotions, right? Our emotional state. Instead of raising the fist against the patriarchy, right? We can instead become that which we sought to destroy. The one thing that built this country, we can actually help to continue bolstering this good country of ours. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for listening. Chapter 5 is going to be releasing this Friday. If you haven't already, please go back and listen to the other chapters that I released for the Pinewood High School incident. The book itself is going along very well, and I'm thank you for your support. Be sure to leave me a comment letting me know what you think of each chapter. And yeah, let's go ahead and listen and see what the rest of the story has in store for us. All right. Catch you guys in the next one. Later.